welcome to Comic Toy Reviews, and this is my thoughts on the news that Disney has bought Lucasfilm and the Star Wars property and are going to make episode 7. I shared some of these thoughts writing with some people I know here, but I just want to make this video and expand on it and talk to all of you. And as a Star Wars fan from the original movies and growing up on it, the news, first of all, just came as a total surprise to me, because I never thought that George Lucas would actually even consider selling the Star Wars property to anyone. I thought, he would have it forever. And I guess in a way this shows Disney, or as some like to call it, the evil empire, that as the future progresses, it seems that more that the corporations are getting smaller and smaller, and that the big giants are gobbling up more and more of the competition, and so that only a few let's say mega corporations will exist in the future. I mean, Disney, only a couple of years ago, they bought Marvel for over $4 billion. And considering that the Avengers movie made over $1 billion alone, it was a good investment. And for them to pay $4 billion or more for Star Wars is a good investment, because this is a rock-solid property and is going to be a moneymaker long-term in the future. It's already established. And, this is a solid investment for them. And I just wonder, legally, once all the paperwork is done, does George Lucas have any say in future movies or how the characters can be used in the future? And personally, I hope he doesn't. Nothing at all. That they could just totally ignore him, Disney, once the deal is done, and he has no say at all. I mean, why buy a property if you don't outright own it completely? And why would you buy a property if the original owner can still have a say in direction and what you can or cannot do? You see, that makes no logical sense. So let's say, as it should be, that Disney will now run things with the Star Wars universe and characters. One of the reasons I'm happy about this is there will be an episode 7 and future movies. And you know that Disney is going to make movies. They're not going to let the property rest. And with Lucas, it was doubtful that he would ever make a Star Wars movie in the future, or that he would rest between films for a long time, like he did between Jedi and Phantom Menace. How many years it took between then, because he decided just to take off and rest, right? Disney, is going to make films in the future. I wonder partially why he sold the property. Maybe Lucas has realized how many years has he got left, Plus, running a company like all of the various companies he has and owns, it does take a lot of time out of you and energy. Maybe he just wants to live these next few years or decades, even though he's rich already, just maybe richer, and just he could do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to worry about anything or owning any more properties. And he could just relax on the beach. But as for Disney, at least now we know for sure there will be new Star Wars films. And to me personally, the films are what matter at the deepest level most than any other Star Wars thing. Video games, animation, books, all of that stuff. It's just not the same as an actual movie with actors. That's the deepest level, because that's what the first Star Wars fans grew up on. It was the movies. You know, that's, to me, as a fan, that's the established material. Anything else is can be seen, to me, maybe other, as sort of like expanded universe. Like, you could take it seriously or you don't have to. That is very optional. But the movies are the actual movies, and that's the solid, real thing. And if you get what I'm saying, the movies now will happen in the future, for sure. And they're probably not going to take as long as how long Lucas took between films or between storylines. And just my random guess, you know, this is based on nothing, but there have been books and other things that took place after Jedi by various writers. And to me, that's all expanded universe. Nothing has to be taken from that. And I don't think any future movie should be based on a book entirely. It should be all new material. And Episode 7, who knows? Because I'm sure Disney doesn't know, and I'm sure there's nothing written script-wise yet. But just my thoughts on what I'd like to see or happen is that it has to take place in the future. Quite a number of decades after the events of Jedi, where probably the Jedi Order has returned and has been built up again thanks to Luke Skywalker. And probably some of his descendants, the new films will revolve around, because it seems the Star Wars films always revolve around the Skywalkers in some form. And just my guess, you know, the Sith have been extinct for decades maybe, and somehow their evil returns. And that could be just a Star Wars idea. Again, this is based on nothing, so don't take this seriously. But the new Star Wars films would face a kind of a dilemma, because established icons like Darth Vader, Yoda, Boba Fett, characters like this can no longer be used in events after Episode 6. And these are like icons of the Star Wars universe, established moneymakers. And they can't be used story-wise. But this will require creativity and Disney to lean on building up new villains, new Sith villains that would hopefully, A, look cool. They have to have a great visual. And they would have to make these characters really gain an audience, just like Darth Vader or the Emperor gained a following. These new bad guys would have to gain a following as well. And it's going to be pretty tough to establish some new characters, because I don't think there's many characters from the original trilogy that could be used or exist far in the future. And just my thoughts, but I don't think Disney would actually go for a reboot of Star Wars, and I hope not. A reboot for them would be a way to bring back the established Star Wars characters, like Darth Vader, like Yoda, and all of those characters that, you know, Disney would want to use in films. But a reboot of this type of property would cause, I think, a big backlash in the Star Wars community. I mean, as a Star Wars fan, do you really want to see a reboot of the original 3 films and a story that's more or less the same? Or would you rather see a trilogy of all new Star Wars material based on new ideas? As a fan, I just want to see new material. I don't want to see a movie based on a movie I originally saw and that I could watch at home and on TV anytime. This is such a different property. It's not like other films where you could reboot it and the audience easily forgives that. I don't think the audience would easily forgive a Star Wars reboot. And it was done so well the first time, especially A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, that there's no need to go back there because those films were done so right the first time. But Where this is going with my thought idea here is that what I would like to see, and they're probably not going to do this, but it would be a great idea, and it would bring back Darth Vader, Yoda, Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, and other established characters. I would like to see an episode that, just like the book Shadow of the Empire took place between established films, they can make an episode that takes place between the events of Sith and A New Hope. One movie that takes place in that time period, because there is a lot of story potential for one film in that gap between movies. For example, we could finally see Darth Vader in his prime hunting down the last of the Jedi who got away, because not everyone got exterminated when Order 66 happened. We can see the stormtroopers officially appear in their classic uniforms. We could see Boba Fett appear on screen and really fight in his prime, because Boba Fett never really fought much. All he did in Empire was shoot his weapon a couple of times at Luke, and what happened to him in Jedi, he really didn't do anything relevant in terms of fighting, but he's been such a great character that we could finally see him, I guess, rise to power and really deliver the action and the fighting that fans have been hoping for. We can see the Emperor take full control of the vast empire and show its influence and exterminate the last of the resistance and the planets that are not under his power. We can maybe see Yoda in exile but have some type of plan. And maybe we get to see Obi-Wan in one final mission. There is a lot of potential story-wise for one episode between those two movies. And that would be a great way to bring back established icons for Disney to the big screen of characters like Darth Vader and Yoda. You know, those established moneymakers that fans like and that Disney would know that fans like. It would be a great way to put them on film again and avoid the need for a reboot to use those characters. I don't think that would ever happen, but who knows? Maybe it could. That would be my best way for them to bring back those classic Star Wars characters in the film universe. As far as Lucas goes, not owning these characters anymore and Disney taking over, I'm actually cool with it, because I don't think Lucas would ever make more Star Wars films. And I think he pretty much said so years ago, maybe, that he never would. And the characters have evolved so much and mean so much to the public now that whatever Lucas originally envisioned, I guess, gone beyond that. It's almost like public domain in that whatever the original ideas were, the characters have changed so much and the public has embraced it so much that Star Wars means much more than just his vision of those characters. It's sort of like the superheroes that exist in comic books, that they've been around so long, those superheroes, that it doesn't belong to any one creator anymore. And that's the way I see Star Wars. It means so much to so many people that it doesn't belong to just one owner or creator anymore. It belongs to the public at large, who has invested so much time and energy in these characters and take it so personal that just to get more Star Wars films, it's a great thing. And, you know, with Disney in charge, they are going to make films in the future. They're not going to let this property just sit there. And as long as the films are great or of good quality by whatever creators they hire, then why not? In the end, you just want some great movies and to be entertained. And personally, Episode 1 was so bad to me and to many Star Wars fans that whatever Disney makes for a movie, it can only be better. It can't get much worse than that episode for a film. And Disney's not fools. You know, just like Pixar has high-quality movies, usually, they're only going to hire the best talent for the Star Wars property. They know how demanding the fans are and that they want to do these films right. And it's going to be some quality stuff in the future. And this is great news for Star Wars fans. That's my thoughts on it. What's yours? And thanks for watching.